The first letter arrived on a Tuesday morning, slipped under my door like a snake sliding through tall grass. I was sipping my coffee, still in my pajamas, when I noticed the crisp white envelope with the HOA logo stamped in the corner like a threat. I opened it casually, expecting the usual nonsense about lawn height or holiday decoration violations. What I read made me laugh, so hard I nearly choked on my coffee. Notice of violation. Unauthorized pet on premises. As per HOA Regulation Section 7.3, all pets must be registered with the board within 14 days of acquisition. Your German Shepherd has been observed multiple times and remains unregistered. Fine, $500. Immediate compliance required. I read it 3 times, each time more confused than the last. German Shepherd? I didn't own a dog. I'd never owned a dog. I was allergic to dogs, for crying out loud. My eyes would puff up like balloons within 5 minutes of being near one. I grabbed my phone and called my best friend Jake. Dude, the HOA thinks I have a German Shepherd, I said, still laughing. Do you? Jake asked, playing along. Jake, you've been to my apartment like 100 times. Have you ever seen a dog? Maybe it's a really good hider. Like a ninja dog. I was still chuckling when I heard the knock on my door. Sharp, authoritative. The kind of knock that demands immediate attention. I opened it to find Brenda Morrison standing there, clipboard in hand, lips pressed into a thin line of disapproval. Brenda was the HOA president, a woman who treated our modest townhouse community like her personal kingdom. She was in her late 50s, with perfectly coiffed blonde hair that never moved in the wind, and a collection of pastel pantsuits that could blind you in direct sunlight. Today's ensemble was a particularly aggressive shade of coral. Mr. Peterson, she said, her voice dripping with false politeness. I trust you received our notice. About my imaginary dog? Yeah, I got it. Her eyes narrowed. There's nothing imaginary about the violations occurring on your property. I have personally witnessed a large German Shepherd in your backyard on 3 separate occasions. I blinked at her. Brenda, I don't have a backyard. I have a patio. A tiny patio. And I definitely don't have a dog. Are you calling me a liar? Her voice rose an octave, and her face began to match her pantsuit. I'm saying you're mistaken. I don't own a dog. I'm allergic to dogs. You can come inside right now and look around if you want. She stepped back as if I had offered to show her a crime scene. I don't need to invade your privacy to know what I've seen with my own 2 eyes. That dog is a menace, and you will register it, or you will face further consequences. What consequences? You can't find me for a pet I don't have. Brenda's smile was cold and sharp. We'll see about that, Mr. Peterson. We'll see about that. She turned on her heel and marched away. Her clipboard clutched to her chest like a shield. I closed the door, shaking my head. This was ridiculous, but I figured it would blow over. I dealt with HOA nonsense before. They'd realize their mistake and move on. I was wrong. The second letter arrived 5 days later. This one was thicker, more official. The fine had increased to $1,000, and there was mention of legal action if I didn't comply within 48 hours. Attached were 3 blurry photographs, allegedly taken in my backyard on different dates. I studied the photos closely. There was indeed a German Shepherd in them, but the background was all wrong. The fence was different. The patio furniture wasn't mine. These weren't even photos of my unit. I marched over to the HOA office, located in the community center building. Brenda was behind her desk, typing furiously on a computer that looked like it was from 2003. Brenda, these photos aren't of my place, I said, dropping the letter on her desk. She barely glanced up. Those were taken by our security patrol on August 3rd, 7th, and 11th, all clearly showing your unit number. Except they don't. Look at the fence. Look at the furniture. That's not my patio. She finally looked at me, her expression one of exaggerated patience, like a teacher dealing with a particularly stupid child. Mr. Peterson, I understand that you're in denial about violating HOA regulations, but the evidence is clear. You have until Friday to register your dog and pay the fine, or we will proceed with legal action. Legal action for a dog I don't have. For a dog you refuse to register, she corrected, her voice icy. There's a difference. I left feeling like I'd stepped into the twilight zone. How do you prove you don't have something? How do you fight against someone who refuses to see reality? Thursday afternoon, I got a call from Jake. Dude, you're not going to believe this. I was walking past the Henderson's place, 2 units down from you, and I saw a German Shepherd in their backyard. My heart started pounding. Are you serious? Dead serious. Big dog, looked exactly like the description. I even checked the unit number. It's 47B. You're 47D, right? Right. Oh my God. She's been finding the wrong unit this whole time. I immediately took photos of the Henderson's place, making sure to capture both the dog and the unit number clearly. Then I marched back to the HOA office. Brenda wasn't there, but her assistant, a timid young woman named Kelly, was. Kelly, I need to show you something, I said, pulling out my phone. The dog Brenda keeps seeing? It's not mine. It belongs to Unit 47B, the Hendersons. See? Same dog, same fence, same furniture from the violation photos. Kelly's eyes widened as she looked at the images. Oh no. Oh no, this is bad. Can you tell Brenda? Can you get this sorted out? Kelly nodded quickly. I'll let her know right away. I'm so sorry about this confusion, Mr. Peterson. I left feeling vindicated. Finally, this nightmare would be over. But Friday came, and instead of an apology, I received a court summons. Brenda Morrison and the HOA were officially suing me for $5,000 in fines and fees related to my continued violation of pet policies and failure to comply with board directives. I couldn't believe it. I literally laughed out loud when I opened the summons, standing right there in my living room. It was so absurd, so completely detached from reality. That laughter was the only appropriate response. Then I heard the sirens. 2 police cars pulled up outside my building, lights flashing. I watched from my window as 4 officers got out, followed by Brenda Morrison, who was pointing dramatically at my unit. My doorbell rang, followed by heavy knocking. Police. Open up. I opened the door, bewildered. Officers, what's going on? The lead officer, a stern-looking man with a graying mustache, looked me up and down. We received a report of a disturbance and possible threatening behavior. Are you Mr. Peterson? Yes, but I haven't. He laughed at me. Brenda's shrill voice cut through the air as she pushed past the officers. He laughed directly in my face when I tried to serve him legal papers. He's been threatening and harassing me for weeks. I stared at her, then at the officers, then back at her. I laughed at a court summons in my own apartment. Alone. She wasn't even here. He's lying. He called me, laughed maniacally, and told me I'd regret this. The officer looked between us, clearly trying to assess the situation. Ma'am, did he actually threaten you? His laughter was threatening. It was meant to intimidate me. I couldn't help it. I started laughing again. The sheer insanity of the situation, the fact that police officers were standing in my doorway because someone claimed my laughter was a threat. It was too much. See, Brenda shrieked. He's doing it again. Arrest him. The officer held up his hand. Sir, I'm going to need you to calm down. Officer, I said, forcing myself to stop laughing. This woman has been trying to find me for a dog I don't own. The dog belongs to my neighbors, the Hendersons in Unit 47B. She's got the wrong unit. I have photos. I have proof. And now she's suing me for $5,000 and claiming my laughter is a threat. Can you honestly tell me this isn't absurd? The second officer, a younger woman with sharp eyes, spoke up. Do you have a dog, sir? No. I'm allergic. You can search my entire apartment right now if you want. She looked at Brenda. Ma'am, have you actually verified which unit the dog belongs to? Brenda sputtered. I know what I saw. Unit 47D. His unit. Could we check the other units? The female officer suggested. We all walked down to Unit 47B. Mr. Henderson answered the door, looking confused by the police presence. Behind him, I could hear barking. Mr. Henderson, do you own a German Shepherd? The female officer asked. Yes, ma'am. His name is Duke. Is there a problem? He's registered with the HOA. We filled out all the paperwork 3 months ago. The officer turned to Brenda. Ma'am, it appears you've been documenting the wrong unit. Brenda's face went through several colors, finally settling on a deep purple. But the numbers must have been changed. Someone switched them. This is sabotage. The unit numbers are painted on the buildings, ma'am. They haven't been changed. I couldn't resist. Brenda, you owe me an apology, and you need to drop this lawsuit. Her eyes bulged. I will do no such thing. You've been difficult and uncooperative from the start. This is insubordination. The lead officer sighed. Ma'am, you can't arrest someone for insubordination in an HOA dispute, and you definitely can't arrest someone for laughing. I'd suggest you folks sort this out through proper channels and maybe double-check your facts before filing lawsuits. After the police left, I stood in my doorway watching Brenda storm back to her car, still muttering about sabotage and conspiracy. Mr. Henderson walked over, Duke wagging his tail beside him. Sorry about all this, he said. I wondered why we never got those violation notices Kelly mentioned. Not your fault, I said, kneeling down to pet Duke, my eyes already starting to water. Good boy. Thanks for existing and proving I'm not crazy. The lawsuit was dropped the following week, though Brenda never apologized. She avoided eye contact with me for months afterward, which honestly made living in the community much more pleasant. But the best part? At the next HOA meeting, the board voted to remove Brenda as president after several other residents came forward with their own stories of her mistakes and overreach. Turns out, I wasn't the only one she'd been harassing. Kelly became the new president. Her first act? Implementing a new policy requiring photographic evidence to include unit numbers in every violation notice. As for me, I framed that court summons and hung it in my living room. Whenever I have guests over and they ask about it, I tell them the story of how I got sued for a dog I didn't own. And every single time I laugh.